Silence feels wrong, not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a quiet, persistent way that makes you shift uncomfortably, reach for your phone, turn on music, or start talking to yourself just to break it. The moment external noise stops, a conversation ends, the music pauses, the notifications go silent, something inside becomes heavy, awkward, empty, as if silence is not rest, but a hole that needs to be filled immediately. And the strangest part is, you were not born feeling this way. You learned it, slowly, through repetition, through a world that rarely leaves space for nothing. The human mind evolved in environments where silence was the norm, not the exception. Nights were dark and quiet. Days had long stretches of walking, working with hands, thinking without constant interruption. Silence was not absence, it was breathing room, space to let thoughts settle, space to feel what was happening inside without distraction, space to process emotions, memories, decisions. The nervous system knew how to rest inside it. It knew how to return to calm after effort or stress. Quiet was natural. It was safe. Modern life rewrote that rule. Today, silence is rare, almost exotic, and when it appears in a quiet room, during a walk without earbuds, before sleep, in the car with the radio off, it feels unnatural, wrong, threatening. The mind has been trained over years to expect input at every moment: notifications, music, videos, conversations, background sounds, endless streams of content. Stimulation became the baseline. Silence became the outlier, and outliers feel dangerous when they become unfamiliar. This discomfort is not boredom in the classic sense, it is conditioning. The brain has learned that silence means something is missing, that stillness means danger might be approaching, that absence of input means loss of control or disconnection from the world. So it reacts the way it was trained to react. It searches for the next thing, the next sound, the next screen, the next distraction, anything to restore the familiar hum of noise, anything to avoid sitting with the quiet. Over time, this training reshapes how you experience everything. Moments that should feel peaceful become restless. Rest becomes something to escape rather than embrace. Even sleep is filled with podcasts, white noise, or scrolling until the last possible second. The mind is rarely allowed to be alone with itself long enough to remember what alone actually feels like, and because it never remembers, it never learns to trust silence again. Many people describe this as, "I can't sit still," or "I need background noise to relax," or "silence makes me anxious." But what they are really saying is deeper. Silence has become uncomfortable, and discomfort is avoided at all costs. So the cycle continues. More input, more noise, less space, less recovery, more exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix. The cost is quiet but profound. Creativity needs space to emerge, space where ideas can collide without interruption. Insight needs time to form, time where thoughts can connect without being pulled away. Emotions need silence to be felt fully, rather than reacted to immediately. When silence is avoided, these things become harder. Thoughts stay shallow, feelings stay unresolved. Life feels busy but strangely hollow. You accomplish things, but the sense of accomplishment fades quickly. You connect with people, but the connections feel surface level. You rest, but you wake up still carrying the same weight. Noticing that silence feels wrong is not a flaw, it is awareness. It is the mind signaling that its natural rhythm has been disrupted.
That the constant noise it has adapted to
is not the same as peace, that something essential, the ability to rest inside one's own presence, has been traded away for constant engagement. Reclaiming silence does not mean abandoning modern life or becoming a monk. It means allowing small pockets of quiet without immediately filling them, leaving the phone in another room for 10 minutes, walking without earbuds, sitting before sleep without scrolling, eating a meal without a screen. These moments will feel awkward at first. The mind will protest. It will look for stimulation. It will feel restless or empty or even anxious. That protest is not failure. It is relearning. The nervous system is recalibrating. It is remembering that silence is not threat, that stillness is not emptiness, that rest is possible without external input. With repetition, the discomfort lessens, the background tension quiets, silence stops feeling heavy and starts feeling grounding. Thoughts slow down enough to connect. Emotions settle instead of being pushed aside. Presence returns, not as a technique you have to force, but as a natural state that emerges when there is room for it. Silence does not feel wrong because something is broken inside you. It feels wrong because something has been changed around you. The world has become louder, faster, more demanding, and your mind has adapted to survive in that world. But adaptation is not the same as thriving, and noticing the difference is where change begins. You do not need to eliminate all noise. You do not need to live in complete isolation. You simply need to create moments where noise is a choice, not a default, where silence is allowed to exist without being punished, where the mind is given permission to breathe. Those moments accumulate, they compound, they rebuild the capacity for depth, for clarity, for real rest. And slowly, the feeling that something is wrong begins to soften, not because the world changed, but because your relationship to it changed, because you stopped running from the quiet and started listening to what it has to say. Silence feels wrong until it doesn't, and when it stops feeling wrong, something else begins to feel right.